How we doing today, guys? Sam here at Anglers, and I've got some old school lures in front of me. Some of them are definitely made in a newer school thought of mine with a lot of these, but heavy metal is the old term you would hear on the bay, and it's jigging spoons. So these are my top 5 jigging spoons. They're such versatile baits. You can catch basically anything that swims in the bay with these, whether you're talking about perch, rockfish, redfish. You even catch speckled trout on them, and definitely some of the lower portions of the bay. Super versatile lure. So how you use these is, like I said, a bunch of different ways. So the first and the most popular one, especially as we progress into the fall here, is going to be jigging them right off the bottom. We start to get more fish schooled up in the mouths of rivers, out on the main parts in the bay, and they're holding tight to the bottom. So these heavier lures, not only do they get down quicker for you, but you can jig them vertically right off the bottom, straight under the boat. Really, really popular stuff. So my favorite one for that tactic is going to be this classic sting silver here. Super basic. This is a 1 ounce, and I like this one here that's really skinny, and that's for a reason. So a lot of people look at this and they think, tie your line on and fish it. And a lot of times I do, especially when I'm fishing up high in the surface in the summer months when I'm working it really quick. But when I'm talking about fall time, the cool thing I can do with this is I can actually bend it because it's got a little bit of lead here. A lot of times it's better to have a pair of pliers, but you can see I added just a little bit of a cup bit to it. What that does is allows it to flutter a lot more erratically. So when this bait's falling in the water column, it has a lot more action than if you just had it a straight shank like that. But these, like I said, don't only work for rockfish. I also really do well on perch with them, especially the bigger ones. And in the same aspect, they'll stack up in deeper water, especially in the fall and winter muds. This one here I like a lot because it comes with this single hook here. Very, very similar as far as color, all that stuff goes. But that single hook does a little bit better on the perch than this one does. It's just a little too big. So that's a great one there. Another one touching on the perch is this one here by Hayabusa. This is a really cool rig. You basically have a classic Sabiki rig right above your jig here. So in Maryland, though, you can only have 2 hooks per rig, so make sure you trim off one of these teasers here. But this is a fabulous rig. You'll get a lot of the bigger perch here on the larger bait, but that smaller one there definitely picks off a few more fish or ones that are a little bit more skittish. This is a fabulous rig for big perch. And then these two are the ones I like to fish up higher in the water column. So even in the fall months, we're still going to have breaking fish on the top of the surface. And a great bait to throw is these guys. I can cover a ton of water with them because I can move them quickly, but they still stay down a little bit. And that's really where I like this epoxy jig. It stays down a little bit better. But this is the rain minnow that you guys have all heard about a million times. The rain minnow is such a great bait for those mackerel, those bluefish when they're up on that surface. I can work it super quick to me. If I have mackerel up there, I can wind the reel as fast as I can, and that bait will basically skip over top of the water surface for me. That's where I really do well on it. Another thing that you have, though, is sea bass fishing. So sea bass fishing is starting to pick up in the bay over the past few winters and falls especially. A really great bait for that are these jigging spoons, and really any of these will work. You'll just tip that with a little piece of squid or a little bit of bait. You can jig that right off the bottom in really deep water, especially in the later stages here in fall. And you can find some sea bass. I know people last year were catching them as far up as the bridge, but especially once you get down to Deal south of there, that's really when you have a good shot at those sea bass. So it's an old school tactic. Heavy metals, that's the old name for them. Really great bait. They haven't lost their touch at all. All these lures are going to be 20% off at our big customer appreciation event coming up this weekend on the 15th and 16th. So stop by, stock up on these lures because they're really hard to beat. Thanks, guys.